How to get your real estate offer accepted. These are 8 tips that really work. The home buyer market is super tight right now. If a house is ready to move into, it's in good condition, it's priced correctly, what happens? Poof, it's gone, right? So nationally, we're in a very competitive environment, and if you're looking at lower priced homes in your market or even a nice home in a desirable area, be prepared to either be gone before you get to see it or a multiple offer situation. So I'm going to show you how you can get your offer to stand out, and when you're up against other offers, how you can win. Inventory being low as it is, supply being low, and demand being very high. If a good home hits the market, everybody's going there at the same time. So these are 8 surefire ways to get your offer accepted. But before we get started, I just want you to know you are the reason I'm doing these videos. You can call it karma, you can call it kindness, you can call it doing the right thing, but my goal is to help you to win. And I just wanted to say how much I appreciate you and thank you for watching these videos. So if these videos are helpful to you in any way, please hit the subscribe button. There's more super helpful videos here on this channel, and that's my goal. So if you're ready, give me a thumbs up and let's go. So here's 8 ways to get your offer accepted. I've used these tactics many years for our clients here to get their dream home. So I know that these will help for you as well. Okay, number 1, make sure you submit a clean offer. Now, what am I talking about, a clean offer? Think about what the seller wants. Put yourself in the mind of the seller, okay? Most of the time, a seller wants a clean offer, which means it won't have that many contingencies or no contingencies, and it'll close quickly, okay? Now, you may not, when you submit your offer, it may not give them everything that they're looking for, but the more stuff that you have into an offer, the less likely it is that your offer will be accepted. So in a market like what we're in right now, you may not be the only one looking at this house. So again, the more contingencies, the more things that you add in on the offer, the less likely you are to get it. So number 2 is right now, don't lowball, okay? Nationally, if it's tight as it is, things are selling super fast. And here in Myrtle Beach, if a property's on the market for 5 days or so, and you're coming in and you want to go, $5,000, $10,000 under what the seller's looking for, they may end up turning their nose up at it and may not even reply because they're testing, they want to see how it's going. If nothing goes on down the road, obviously they may consider other things, but just again, put yourself in the seller's mind because you'll have a better opportunity of seeing what you need to do. If this is your dream home and you really want it, you just want to make sure that if you take that cost of like $5,000 over a 30-year period of time, it's like $14 a month. That's like the cost of a couple fancy coffees, or is that going to take you away from your dream home? So don't get too excited about that. Make sure you're coming in with a good solid offer. Okay, number 3 is home inspections. Okay, take a good look at the property. Now, if it's in bad shape, obviously, you want to look it over and make sure everything's good. But, you may or may not want to do an inspection if you feel comfortable. Here's the reason why. Many sellers believe that if you come in with an inspection, as a buyer, and, you come back and you got a laundry list of things to fix, whether they're cosmetic. Now, again, cosmetic doesn't count because as long as it's still functioning, air conditioning, roof, all those solid things, those are the expensive things. As long as the stuff is still working and you come back with a laundry list, the seller in their mind, again, thinks you might nickel and dime them to fix things, okay? Or you might reopen back up this negotiation and try to get a lower price. So again, the more contingencies, the more things that you have in there, stipulations, do you want to put in a home warranty? No, because again, a home warranty, probably not. If you're trying to win an offer, the more things that you put in there, it's going to take you further away from getting what you want, which is ultimately the home. Okay, number 4 is What is a best offer? So make your best offer. Now you've heard the term highest and best, right? But what is a best offer? You need to come in ready. So what that means is if you haven't already thought about it, make sure that if you're paying cash, you've got your proof of funds, which is the letter from your bank or wherever your funds are, proving I got the money, or your bank, I got the money. Okay, you're proving you're worthy. Okay, so the next thing is sometimes it's not about the asking price. Okay, maybe you can give a quick close and someone else can't, or maybe that's what the seller really needs is I got to get this place sold real quick. So sometimes you have to think about what's actually going on in the back end. Okay, sometimes you need to go over the asking price if you got a multiple offer situation. If you really want to get the home, sometimes you need to step it up. Now, what am I saying here? I'm going to use an example. Okay, asking price on a house is $225,000. But in your mind, you're saying, I don't want to pay that much. I don't want to pay a whole lot of money. I don't want to get scammed. I don't want to overpay. And I don't want you to overpay either. Okay. But let's say that you do want to make an offer and you go in and you want the house and this is your dream home and they're asking 225 and you go in at 230. Just know this. If you're financing, your lender, who's going to send in an appraiser. Who is the appraiser? The appraiser is a third party that's going to go do all the work. They're going to go physically look at the property. They're going to make sure that it's worth that much money. And listen, the bank is not going to lend you money if the house is not worth it. They're not going to write a check for this property if they think that the property is not worth that much money. Okay? So think of it this way. Think of it in terms of I'm not saying that it is, okay, but think of it in terms of an insurance policy for overpaying, okay? So, you won't overpay if you have the appraisal because the appraiser is a third party verifying for the bank to make sure the bank doesn't want to overlend on the property either, right? Now, you can pay more than asking price. Let's say it appraises, and let's say that the house does not appraise at the full offer that you've made, okay? Does that make sense? So you can step up the difference and pay with your own funds if you have them and you really want the house. If it's the house that you love and you're going to stay in it over time, a few dollars really might be worth the investment in the long run, right? So here's number 5, closing costs. If you need closing costs, and like first-time home buyers, there's a lot of programs for first-time home buyers, little or no money down. But in this case, if you need closing costs, and I would suggest you writing the offer to include your closing costs in the offer. Okay. So now the property still needs to appraise again if you're financing. So let me just use some round numbers here, just give you another idea. Let's say in this example that the seller is asking $300,000. And you need closing costs because you can't come up with a difference. You got all your money is going into this house. Your credit's great. You're able to do it. But you calculate the closing costs are going to cost you around 3%, which is, let's say, $9,000. So $300,000 is the seller's asking. And you calculate it's going to cost you about $9,000 to come in. So raise your offer price to $309,000. Now, the reason I'm saying this is, in this example that I'm using, is a seller, how do you negotiate? How do you get it? The seller is getting the price that they wanted. That's what they wanted, right? And you are getting the closing costs. So, and as long as the bank is happy with this and it appraises and everything's good, everyone is happy. So again, when you put yourself in the seller's shoes, you win. Okay, let's go back. Number 6, put yourself in the seller's shoes. Okay, so think about how the seller would think. That's the important thing here. What would make them take your offer? Okay, it's reverse engineering, right? What would make them take your offer? So, like an example, one of our buyer's agents here has a client and they want to buy a house. They may call the listing agent and say, hey, what do you think the seller is looking for? What do they want to do? So, when do they want to close? So it was back to that other thing. If they need closing right away, that's one thing. But if they find out that they're building a house, let's say, okay, and they want to rent this house back for a couple of months until their house is completed and built, that may be a scenario where, like, if you're retiring and moving to the area, you don't need to move right away. This may be a win for you. Okay. So that's another thing. So here's number 7. Write a letter and submit it along with the offer. Okay. So you want to tell your story of why you really want to live in this house. Now, I got to tell you something. I have seen this work, and I've also seen it backfire. So, I've seen letters where the buyer would try to find something in common with the seller. Now, for instance, here's some examples. Family, like kids. Oh, you got 3 kids, I got 3 kids, or whatever the case might be, or cars. When they were looking at the house, they saw in the garage that they had a car, and it's similar to a car that they once owned, the buyer might once owned, or that bring back childhood memories or something. Okay, so they're trying to find that connection in common, right? Sometimes, you think about your sellers and you want to try if they're alike you, and then they will like you. Okay, but seriously, sometimes it is not about the contract or any of that stuff. Sometimes it's just about feelings. It's about how someone feels, how they can identify with the way that you feel. So, for instance, if it's a young couple, first-time home buyer, maybe in the letter it says something like, and you can get the seller to recognize that, they were a young couple at one time and they remember just starting out, and the seller then may think, yeah, I want to let them have the house because then it'll go on. So sometimes it's not about the price. So I just want you to know that. I've also seen where the seller is like, I am not selling this house, and I'm not because here's another thing that happens is because they haven't mentally, the seller has not mentally come to terms with moving. Now, and that happens. Or how it backfires. The letter is so sappy. It is, they say this is ridiculous, or they're trying to push me. They're trying to push too hard. So just remember that if you use that technique. Here's number 8. And there's a little bonus behind this as well. So if you're watching this all the way to the end, you're going to get some more stuff. Work with an expert negotiator. Now, why do I say that? Somebody like this guy. Okay, now, no matter where you live in the United States, seriously, you need someone who has the experience and knows how to negotiate. Now, there's a lot of critical things that come up. And there's a lot of moving parts. The gears are moving when you're talking about real estate. It's all these things that have to come together in order for you to close. But you need a professional, okay? So like if you had an issue with your brain, okay, you need a brain surgeon, okay? Do you just go to the Yellow Pages and pull out whoever? No, you want the best brain surgeon, right? Because it's important. Well, so is this, okay? So the one thing that I want to let you know is, and a lot of people have this misconception is, they won't use a buyer's agent. They'll go ahead and they'll go to the listing agent. Now, I want you to, again, think this out. Who is the listing agent really working for? They're working for the seller, okay? They're not working for the buyer, okay? They already have signed the contract with the seller that has them working for the seller in the seller's best interest. So they're not working for the buyer's best interest, you, the buyer. So what you need to work with is a buyer's agent that works in your best interest in all relevant areas of the transaction. Someone who does this every day, not someone who has a little bit of skill in it, because here's why. You want to get the comps, and you can get this stuff yourself. You want to get the price per square foot, but you also need to know what the absorption rates are. And there's so many other moving parts. You need someone who is highly skilled and knowledgeable and can negotiate, okay? Now, I'm going to give you this example. In my office here, my name is on the building. It's Jerry Pinkas Real Estate Experts, okay? But I still get involved, okay? I've got 2 sets of teams that help people. I've got buyer's agents. These are all hand-selected. They just show property. That's all they do. They work with just buyers exclusively. They're in the properties every day. They know where the best deals are. They're super skilled. And they always are never talking to a seller. They're always working with a buyer. Now, why is this important? Because again, The more times they do this, the better they get at it, the skill level goes up, and guess what? They also aren't doing this. How much do you think you're going to take? I don't know. What do you want? You know, a seller, when you're working with the listing agent, knows too much information. The seller's already told them, and they're working for them anyway. They aren't working for the buyer. So it's two separate, completely things. So my company is totally different here. We split the brokerage model into two sides totally. So the listing agents are all work on the second floor in my office building. Okay, the buyer's agents work on the first floor in my office building. The listing agents are hand selected. They're on their game. They get the job done, but they never talk with the buyer. They're always working because their skill level, again, is with that seller. They do all those things and get the job done, right? So, you know, you want someone who's working in your best interest, right? So that's why I'm doing these videos. Like and again, going back to it, the karma, the kindness, doing the right thing, it comes back tenfold if you're doing the right thing. But, you know, when we do the right thing, or if your agent does the right thing, who are you going to tell? You're going to tell everyone, right? And that's how we've grown. That's how most people do. They recognize, they send their friends, they send their family. So if you're working with the right skilled negotiator, no matter where you are in the country, okay? What this does is this helps put the ball in your court. And that's what is important, is putting the ball in your court. There's many other tactics that my team has used over the years to get your offer accepted. But, you know, a lot of people have questions. And so here's the deal. You have questions, you know, we have answers. My team is super excited to talk to you, to answer your questions. You know, as I said in the beginning, I really want you to win. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please subscribe, hit the bell, will you? I mean, I've got other super helpful videos here for you. And I just want to help you and make sure you're avoiding the pitfalls that are costly. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic day. And we'll see you in the next video. Okay? Take care, guys.